30 eye-opening comparisons that will turn your world upside down. Whether you're a history buff or a computer whiz, we often feel pretty confident about the world around us. That being said, it sometimes gets a bit difficult to comprehend two mind-bending phenomena: time and size. But if you try to look at them from a different angle, for instance, with the help of comparison, the picture immediately gets much clearer and much more astonishing. In today's video, we have 30 eye-opening comparisons that put huge numbers into perspective for you. Spoiler alert, once you know about them, your world will never be the same. But before we drop your jaw Wile E. Coyote style, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and ring the notification bell. That way, you'll always be the first to see all the fun and informative videos coming out every single day on the bright side of life. Okay, now let's kick this list off. 1. In one single day, mosquitoes kill more people than sharks do in a century. In 2016 alone, mosquito bites led to 1,470 deaths a day. Yet it took the infamous shark 100 years, from 1916 to 2016, to kill 1,035 people. The thing is that mosquitoes spread serious diseases like malaria. Each year, hundreds of millions of people suffer from this terrible illness. In fact, a child dies from malaria every 2 minutes. And still, people are more afraid of sharks than these little bloodsuckers. Even though you're 50,000 times less likely to die from a shark attack. Believe it or not, the mosquito is the most deadly creature in the world. 2. Almost everything you see is from the past. People can perceive in real time only those objects that are located right next to them. But the further from an object you are, the further back in time you see it. For instance, if your friend waves at you from a mile away, about 0.00005368 seconds pass before you see them do it. And if that friend were to wave at you from NASA's Voyager 1 space probe, their greeting would reach you 15.5 hours later. 3. Cleopatra was closer in time to space exploration than to the construction of the Great Egyptian Pyramids. The pyramids had been around for approximately 2,500 years before the Queen was born. As for the first moon landing, it happened about 2,000 years after Cleopatra's reign. 4. 1 second can be a very long period of time. The shortest possible unit of time is Planck time. That's how long it takes light to cross one Planck length, which is the shortest possible distance in a vacuum. It's hard to imagine, but there are more units of Planck time in a single second than there have been seconds since the Big Bang. 5. The Star Trek franchise will turn 52 years old on September 8, 2018. Without ads, you'd need approximately 22 days or 531 hours to watch all the TV series, plus one more day or 25.25 hours to see all the movies. That's some binge watching I'm totally down for, as long as you can beam me up some snacks and drinks while I watch. 6. If an atom were the size of a football stadium, its nucleus would be no bigger than a pea lying on the 50-yard line. 7. If your arm span represented the entire history of living creatures on Earth, from the single-celled organisms on the tip of your left hand to today's world on the very tip of your right, you could shave off all the recorded human history by grazing your fingernail with a nail file. 8. Frozen drinks are actually much cheaper than you think. The frozen drink markup is 980%. That means that a drink you purchase for $2 costs the retail approximately 19 cents. 9. Homo sapiens' first record dates 400,000 years back. Yeah, that dust that went flying when you filed your nail? During all this time, the fastest man on Earth, Usain Bolt, could have already made 14 sprints to Pluto and back. 10. If the density of the world population suddenly became as high as it is in Manhattan, all the people on our planet would fit inside Colorado. 11. If the Earth was shrunk to the size of a billiard ball, our planet would be the smoother of the two. 12. People have spent approximately 4.8 million hours playing Pac-Man. That's about 548 years, which is longer than the existence of the Roman Empire. and Billy Mitchell only accounts for about half of that. 13. If one day a supernova happened as far away as the sun and you were to glance at it, it would be 9 times brighter than a nuclear bomb that went off in front of your face. 14. In 1860, people needed 4 months to get from Missouri to Oregon via the Oregon Trail. 100 years later, and Apollo 11 took only 4 days to get to the moon. 15. ENIAC. One of the first electronic general-purpose computers would have needed 2 years to perform all the operations an iPad does in a second. 16. Let's imagine that the time dinosaurs roamed the planet, about 160 million years, is represented by the distance between Los Angeles and New York, which is 2,789 miles. In this case, the time people have been around, about 200,000 years, will take you no further than Boyle Heights, which is about 4 miles from downtown LA. 17. France was still using the guillotine to execute people when the world saw the Apple II computer in June 1977. The last time a guillotine was used was in September of the same year. 18. If the Milky Way galaxy was the same size as the US, our solar system would be as big as a quarter. 19. Warren Buffett has so much money that for him to spend $700,000, it's like buying a can of soda for the average American. 20. If you could get $1 for every second of your life, it would take you less than 2 weeks to have $1 million. At the same time, to accumulate 1 billion, you'd need 31 years. 21. People took 1 trillion photos in 2015. This means that in just 1 minute, people took more photos than all of humanity took in the whole 19th century. If you printed all the photos that were taken in 2015 and lined them up, they would stretch for over 200 million miles. That's more than enough to get to the sun and back. 22. Woolly mammoths were still around when the Great Pyramid of Giza was being constructed. Most of these animals died out about 10,000 years ago, but there was a small population that still lived on Wrangel Island until 1650 BCE, and that's about 1,000 years after the construction of the pyramids had been finished. 23. If the flu virus was 3 feet long, the size of a red blood cell would be about as big as a Boeing 747. 24. If our planet was the size of your typical classroom globe, then all the oceans would be no deeper than 0.04 inches. 25. The smallest cat in the world is 7.5 inches long. That's the size of a full-grown guinea pig. 26. If Bill Gates decided to spend his current net worth before he turned 80, he would have to spend $9.7 million a day. That's enough money to buy 35 average American homes. 37. The blue whale is the biggest animal that has ever lived on Earth. It can grow up to 100 feet long. Toronto's CN Tower was the tallest construction in the world from 1976 to 2007. Its height is more than 1,800 feet. That means it's taller than 18 blue whales if you stack them vertically nose to tail. Yet, the Toronto Tower would look tiny in comparison to the 6,500-foot glacier that used to cover the city during the latest ice age. 28. Ants outnumber humans pretty impressively. There are 1.4 million ants for each person. 29. On the same note, the stars seriously outnumber ants. There are 30 million stars for each ant. 30. The eyes of the giant squid are the biggest in the animal kingdom. Its massive eyeball can have a diameter of 10 inches. That's bigger than a standard-sized basketball, which is only 9 inches across. Which comparison shocked you the most? Do you know any other facts? Do you know any other facts that can dazzle us? Write about them in the comments below. Hit the like button if we managed to get at least one whoa out of you during the video. And remember to subscribe to the channel to stay with us on the bright side of life. See you next time.